Guys, have you ever had a fragrance that you have not liked, not loved, hated, despised, but later, 2 weeks later, 1 month later, 1 year later, 2 years later, you do a 180, complete 180, and you are head over heels about the fragrance? Well, it's happened to me, and it's happened with this fragrance now. This is Baccarat Rouge 540 from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. If you want to find out my journey about why this happened with this fragrance, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. If this is your first time landing on my channel and you love watching fragrance reviews, finding out about new fragrances, discovering new brands, and participating in giveaways, and still have not subscribed to my channel, please click that subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you will be notified for future videos and giveaways. And yes, that's exactly what happened with Baccarat Rouge 540. This is a fragrance that I despised, actually. I thought, what the heck are people so excited about? What is the deal with this fragrance? Why is everybody going gaga over this fragrance? Well, there are reasons why. Well, I just thought it was just nothing really interesting compared to a lot of the other fragrances from this house. I love Grand Soir. It's my favorite fragrance from the house, but I also like a lot of other fragrances. There are many in this collection that I really absolutely love. It's one of my favorite niche houses, and I first discovered the house going back to when I first started doing YouTube videos about 2012, maybe even a little earlier, but I really didn't jump into buying any of the fragrances until a couple of years after. But this was a fragrance that I just didn't do it for me. Launched in 2015. It comes in Eau De Parfum concentration, created by Francis Kurkdjian, of course, of Maison Francis Kurkdjian. And the notes for this fragrance are Jasmine, Saffron, Cedarwood, and Ambergris. This is what was listed on the Maison Francis Kurkdjian website. There were a few other notes listed on Fragrantica, but that's what the notes are from their website. But yeah, I mean, every time I'd go to Neiman Marcus, this is a brand that is sold at our Neiman Marcus here in San Francisco, people, sales associate, everybody would just react like positively. I'm not sure if they're like, this is what they're supposed to say, which is most likely that it is, but they tried to sell me this fragrance, and I'd say, no, this fragrance doesn't do it for me. I don't know why, but I don't love it. It reminds me of a manufacturing plant, a mechanic shop with a overgrowth of like jasmine and floral notes or something. Just really odd fragrance. So I just reacted very negatively to it. But 2015 on to summer of 2018, towards the end of summer, I started appreciating the smell. Really odd. But all along the way, every time I'd go to Neiman Marcus, the sales associates would be, here, smell Maison Francis Kurkdjian Baccarat Rouge 540. This is one of the best fragrances ever. I'm like, okay, that's what you think. But over and over, samples after samples, and test strips after test strips, and then finally, something happened last summer. But it didn't happen last summer. What happens is sometimes I've done this I've done this several times. Like one of the things, one of the fragrances that this happened to was from Maison Margiela, of all people, a house, a Belgian fashion house, and they have a fragrance called Untitled, which I didn't react very positively to. The fragrance focused on galbanum as a note, a green note, and once I started appreciating galbanum as a note, I really fell in love with that fragrance, but I didn't react positively to it up until I started appreciating galbanum. Now I love galbanum as a note, and I also love Untitled from Maison Margiela. Similar here, but we're going to fast forward to the beginning of 2018. That's when all Le Labo boutiques were available or able to sell Le Labo's Another 13, because Another 13 was exclusive to Colette Boutique in Paris, but that closed down, and then finally the boutiques that sold Le Labo got Another 13, and I started wearing it. The Another 13 is a fragrance about ambergris. Maybe it's ambroxan, but I think it's ambergris. But it's a similar fragrance to Eccentric Molecules, fragrances like Molecule 1, Molecule 2, but it's in relation to the Molecule 2 because Molecule 2 is about ambroxan. But similar to Eccentric Molecules fragrances, because when I wear that fragrance, I can't smell anything on me except for like some minor notes, but people around me react very, very positively, and I react very positively when other people are wearing it. I started smelling it, and I was like, wow, this stuff is so sexy, but I could never smell it on me. Other people can, I can't. But I can smell it on other people who are wearing it, and it is really, really sexy. And it's the ambergris in that fragrance that just comes alive. Absolutely comes alive. And that's exactly what's going on here. I started appreciating ambergris just like I started appreciating galbanum. But this ambergris has always been something that I liked, I enjoyed. It's been in fragrances, but not in dominant form. And here, with Baccarat Rouge 540, it's in dominant form. And maybe my nose was blind to it. Maybe my nose didn't appreciate it. But maybe my nose just didn't react positively to it. But we thank Le Labo Another 13 for me to appreciate ambergris. I'm in love with it. This is absolutely sexy. It's one of the sexiest fragrances I have ever smelled. Plus, it is such a beast. Beast mode all the way. Recently featured in my beast mode projection video because this projects so loudly. It's got great sillage, great projection, and ultra long lasting. Longevity is awesome with this one. And I'm going to mention it here in this video, but I usually do not like to list or mention how much longevity and projection is in a fragrance. If a fragrance is not beast mode, if it's moderately projecting, if it's moderate longevity, I'm not going to go on about performance because for me, these reviews are mostly about the way fragrances smell. I will mention it if the fragrance itself is a beast, and this one is. This one is definitely a beast, and I love that about it. I mean, next day, 2 days later, I can still smell the fragrance on me. It is magic. I mean, 4 years later, I'm into this fragrance. Where have I been? Where has my nose been? I guess just sometimes that's what happens with fragrances. But guys, have you ever experienced this? Have you had a fragrance that you hated, despised, and then come back to it like a year later, and like you're like in love with this fragrance, and you call it the best fragrance ever? Have you had this experience? Let me know. So yeah, I mean, that's what my experience is with this fragrance, and I think I'm just head over heels with it. I can't stop wearing it, and I bought this particular bottle here, a 200 ml version of it in Paris. I don't think our Neiman Marcus store sells this 200 ml version here, but the 200 ml version was about 350 euros, maybe a little less. And there was that 10% discount card I had for Printemps in Paris. And there I was able to save 10%, plus I got my tax-free, so this one turned out to be a very valuable purchase rather than buying it here in the States where I'd have to pay almost the price of what this cost over there, if that makes sense. Almost. Not exactly, but I'm head over heels for this one. I think I'll be putting it to use a lot. I'll be wearing it a lot. It is just awesome. It's just the way it is. I guess a lot of people do wear this one. It's a very popular seller. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it with this one. I covered everything, and I'm head over heels for it, as I said, and let's see what happens next. Maybe there's going to be another fragrance that I'm going to smell and I'm going to react really negatively to, and then come back to it and really love it. But it doesn't happen too often, because sometimes I hate fragrances and I hate it. I just move on. I don't talk about them. But this one, I don't know, it was challenging, and just my nose needed that workout, and then now I've appreciated it completely. Anyway, guys, please let me know if this has happened to you as well. Put some comments down. Let's get a conversation started. Also, let me know anything about this or any other fragrances that you have had the experience with. If you have any questions or comments about Baccarat Rouge 540, please list below. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.